Hello, and welcome back to the Sterling's Global Channel. How are you today? I am Jay, and I'm one of the account specialists of Sterling's Global, a UK-based accounting firm specializing in e-commerce and traditional businesses. As always, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you're new here, glad you could join us. On this channel, we do a deep dive into different pain points and challenges that our clients usually have and discuss valuable insights that can help entrepreneurs, self-starters, and freelancers. In this video, I will discuss how to avoid HMRC self-assessment tax investigation for sole traders. As a sole trader, ensuring compliance with HMRC regulations is often cumbersome, especially if you file your taxes alone. As you focus on growing your business, you cannot afford to waste your time and resources, so it would be another burden if you suddenly receive a notice of tax investigation. Avoid being investigated and protect your hard-earned income with our comprehensive guide. Keep watching to know more. Before we list down tips to avoid tax investigation, we will first define what it is and what prompts HMRC to do it. What is an HMRC tax investigation? A tax investigation is a right of Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs and is conducted to ensure you are paying the right amount of tax. They do this by checking your financial records and tax returns. By law, you must cooperate when you receive an official investigation letter or a phone call from HMRC. HMRC will explain what they plan to check, which can be a specific part of your tax returns or a broader scope of your tax affairs. Sounds awful, right? Once you get the memo, you have no choice but to comply. But of course, we are here to help you reduce the risk of being investigated as much as possible. What prompts an HMRC tax investigation? To avoid getting investigated, you should first understand what triggers it. There can be several reasons why HMRC might want an investigation of your taxes, which are: Number 1, you omitted something or made a mistake. Even a small mistake can trigger HMRC to investigate, whether it's a tick box you forgot to click in your self-assessment return, incorrect figures, or inaccurate supplementary information. HMRC now has a powerful and sophisticated computer system that automatically cross-checks your submitted tax returns to the existing data the system has from you. Number 2, you frequently file your taxes late. You have until the 31st of January to complete and submit your tax returns for the previous year. If you continually file your self-assessment tax return late, this can prompt a tax investigation. Number 3, there are inconsistencies and fluctuations. With the data tools, HMRC can check the variations in figures on your tax returns, so if they notice a considerable amount of fluctuations, they can check your financial records to confirm. They can also investigate if you provide information different from the norms of your industry or sector type. Number 4, you are classified as suspicious. The most aggravating reason for the investigation is if HMRC holds evidence and proof of fraud and deliberate tax avoidance. This can come from proven third-party tip-offs. Number 5, other uncontrollable circumstances. Aside from the above mentioned, there could also be reasons that are out of control, such as you are classified by HMRC as a high risk from the risk-based selection of businesses to check. Your industry can also be part of their target area of interest because of a high chance of tax evasion, or etc. Or you were just selected randomly. In short, you just happened to be chosen for an investigation and did nothing wrong. What to do to reduce your risk of being investigated? Now that you know the possible reasons, it is much easier to understand and remember what to do to avoid tax investigations from HMRC. Listed below are the tips we have for you. But before that, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button below. Let's start. Number 1, file on time and ensure accuracy and completeness. Remember that filing your tax return late triggers an investigation, so you should ensure that you submit it on time. It would be better if you could file your tax returns earlier to have more time to check for any omissions, errors, or mistakes you possibly made. Number 2, Use supplementary notes when appropriate. HMRC can quickly initiate an investigation of your taxes, but in the end, the reason can just be a misjudgment of the figures. To save time, you can add explanatory texts for amounts and information you think HMRC and their data tools may notice and consider a red flag. Number 3. Do not deliberately fabricate or conceal numbers. You may think it is onerous to pay the right amount of tax and consider lowering it by adding costs or hiding your actual income. However, with the advancements of HMRC as they approach digitalization, these fraudulent activities are likely to be noticed. You should note the consequence of deliberately paying an incorrect amount of tax. Once proven through an investigation, you will have to pay heavy penalties, offsetting the previously saved tax on your return and even exceeding it. And aside from the penalties, you may also face criminal charges because of tax evasion. That is why it is not a good idea for the sake of your reputation. Number 4. Hire an independent accountant. The best thing to do to avoid errors on your tax returns is to get help from a reputable service provider to handle your tax affairs. Aside from the confidence you have that they file your tax returns on time and correctly, hiring an accountant also gives you more time for your businesses. And there you have it, we now have the ways to avoid HMRC tax investigation. After knowing this, you might still have questions, so we will briefly answer frequently asked questions about this topic. Number 1. What are the chances of being investigated by HMRC? Even if you know that you paid the correct tax payable and provide accurate information on your tax return to HMRC, you do not automatically escape the radar. As mentioned in the reasons for being investigated, there are still out-of-hand circumstances, so technically everyone is at risk. It is impossible to determine the probability of your business being selected for an HMRC investigation, but it is possible to reduce the risk, as we tackled in this blog. Number 2. What happens if you ignore the HMRC investigation? The more you ignore the HMRC notice of investigation, the worse it gets. HMRC has the power to impose penalties against you. To make it worse, they can also involve the closure of your business. Number 3. How far back will HMRC investigate? In general, HMRC has the power to investigate you for up to 20 years from the date of the tax year being investigated. However, the exact time frame can vary depending on the type of tax and the circumstance of each case. For example, if there is evidence of serious fraud or criminal behavior, HMRC may be able to investigate further back. On the other hand, if the taxpayer has a good compliance history and the errors in their tax affairs are minor, HMRC may limit the investigation to the more recent tax years. For careless tax returns, it can be up to 6 years back, and for innocent errors, it can be up to 4 years. Conclusion: completely avoiding HMRC tax investigation is impossible. Still, the risk can be reduced to a minimal probability by filing tax returns accurately and on time, being honest, and considering hiring a reputable service provider. Check out our sole trader accountants, services, and plans on the Sterling's global website. That's all for today. We hope today's discussion helps you understand what HMRC tax investigation is and how it is avoided as much as possible. If you want to know more about our sole trader accountant services, check out our website, sterlingsglobal.com. We have different plans for you to consider according to your business needs and resources. If you enjoy this content and want to learn something similar, please like, follow, and subscribe to our media channels. Again, this is Jay of Sterling's Global, and I will see you at the next one.